Good, so welcome to the 2019 Compute Winter Meeting, and our first talk is by Melvyn B Davies, who will give an introduction to Compute.
Right, thank you, Ross. Yes, I'm Melvyn Davies. I work here in the Department of Astronomy and Theoretical Physics, and I'm also the chair of the steering group of Compute. Let me begin by asking you all a question. Who is coming to a Compute event for the first time today? Be brave. Look at that. Lots of new hands. Very good. I'm never sure. I think it's always very good to see new faces, whether you think people only come once, but hopefully we'll see you all again. So I'm going to take a few minutes only just to talk a little bit about what Compute is, so you all get a sense of it. You can ask questions after this if you want, or over lunch. I'll be here all day, and as Ross mentioned. So let me begin with what Compute is then. So Compute is a research school at Lund University, a forskarskola in Swedish, right? Okay, it focuses on scientific discovery using computers, and scientific in the Swedish sense, so vetenskap, right? And very, very broadly, this can mean lots of different things to lots of different people. So if you ask me, does that mean merging neutron stars on a computer? Does it mean longitudinal studies of socioeconomic outcomes? Does it mean deep learning opposed to used to biomedicine? My answer is yes. Okay, this is a deliberately broad definition here. So if you think you're doing something to do with eScience and computers, that means you are, and you should be interested in Compute. We do a number of things, and I'll list here the main activities. We do provide PhD courses. An important point about the PhD courses is they are dynamic, meaning that we are absolutely open to new suggestions for courses. Right, we'll get onto it in a minute, how we've broadened Compute. And absolutely, if you're out there as a teacher and you have an idea for a course, or you're a student and you have an idea for a course, do let us know. Talk to the study directors, because we can absolutely fund developing new courses and providing those new courses. We also have an annual summer retreat and winter meeting. You're at the winter meeting right now, of course. And we have an internat, an overnight thing every summer. We'll come to in a moment. We also organise seminars. So we have Compute seminars, most often in this room as well. 1-hour seminar where we provide, again, funding for people in the community and Compute members to suggest people to come and give a talk, international speakers talking about their research. So it's a good opportunity, frankly, to fund a visitor, have them give a Compute seminar and spend a day or two in your own research group as well. So absolutely, that's open to any Compute member to suggest a seminar speaker. And we also recently developing the Alumni Careers Network, and that's pretty obvious what that means. We have an alumni network now. We're beginning to build that. And we also have had last autumn a careers event where we brought in employers from the Science Park here to talk to our current Compute members about what they do and what career options are available to our Compute community with those companies. And in red here, a very important message, is that Compute now enjoys the support of LTH and medicine, as well as the Faculty of Science. That's a very important development for us. We're very, very pleased about that. We thank both LTH and medicine faculty for their support. Going forward, we basically are looking to build the activity of Compute as a research school at Lund University, providing support and helping people do their research when they need eScience support. We're already quite large, actually. Compute already has over 300 members, a lot of PhD students, well over 100 PhD students currently enrolled, and also about 70 alumni. Also importantly, so it's a forskarskola, so it's for PhD students for courses, but Compute is open to everyone, right? Because everyone can have a contribution or gain something in various different ways. So not only do we have the students, we also have their and second main supervisors, but also other people too. So if you're sitting in this room as a forskare, a postdoc, forskningsengineer, but you want to be involved, you want to know about the Compute seminars, you're absolutely welcome to come to them. It's a good idea, therefore, to join Compute. Okay, joining Compute just takes a second to fill in the form, costs you nothing, no obligation to go to any of the courses or any particular event, but it would mean that you're kept in the loop. You would know about what's going on. We would have an email list, and we would then contact you to let you know about things that you might be interested in. And as I mentioned already, or Ross mentioned, the forms are available today and also on the Compute website. We have a steering group. Compute is managed by a number of people. Together is the steering group. I'm the chair of the steering group. I think everyone is here today, hopefully. We have Oscar Argotts and Ross Church, the study directors. You met Ross already. He's chairing this morning's session. And Oscar's now going to wave his hand as well. He's chairing this afternoon. They're the study directors. So if you have questions particularly about the PhD courses, ideas of courses you might want to give, you're a PhD student, you want to know more about them, do track these guys down over lunch. We also have other people in the steering group. I think they're all here. We have, I'm going to read them out and then they're all going to wave together. We have Philip Birken, Katerina Doglioni, Joachim Hein, Nikolai Oskolkov, Oksana Smirnova and Magnus Ullner. If they all kind of wave now, and you see everyone around there. So if you clock a nearby hand and you have particular questions about compute, they can also answer your questions again over lunch in the foyer. So talking briefly about the courses then, just to give you a flavour, all of this is on our website. I'll tell you how to find the website at the end actually, it's pretty easy. But anyway, as you can see from this, that we have a range of courses to just get a flavour of it. So the courses we offer, sort of 4, 5, 6 courses a year, that kind of intensity. And so the courses in 2018, we had a course on virtual reality in computational research. We're going to have a presentation later this morning about virtual reality, but that was an opportunity in that course for people to bring along their own data in a project-based way and learn to put their data into a virtual reality setting, and we will do that again in due course. We had a course about modelling and computer simulation particles going through material using something called Geant 4. We had a course on deep learning. We had a course on Jupyter Notebooks. This year, already planned, we have distributed computing concepts and tools and Monte Carlo molecular dynamics tools, and both of those are currently open for registration. So check them out on the website if you're a PhD student or you have a PhD student who you think might be interested, and look on the Join Compute and register for those courses right now because they're happening very, very soon. Coming up after them, we have a course on scientific programming, image analysis, Jupyter Notebooks again, because it's a very popular course. I have it very frequently, and also an introduction to Python. But again, we are open to new ideas as well, so if you've got thoughts about the courses you might want to see or you might want to give, do let us know, please. Summer and winter meetings then. So winter meeting, we're actually at the winter meeting here already, of course. Our summer retreats focus on skill development as broadly defined. So last year we had a nice 2-day event on scientific writing, so thinking about how we write articles and other documents. And this summer, coming up August 13 to 14, we have interdisciplinary research as our theme. And what we're going to do there is broadly put people together in smaller groups to discover combinations of skills and needs. So let's imagine I am in the medical faculty and I'm doing medical imaging, I'm doing CT scans of brain tumours. It's a nice upbeat topic, isn't it? Very serious, important topic. And I want to use machine learning to figure out what kind of brain tumour I'm looking at here. Is it a bad one or a really bad one? Right? And then you can combine the skills of the machine learners with the medical imaging people. And some of you may know in the audience this has already been done, actually. But you get the idea. And that's going to be what we do with interdisciplinary research in the summer, putting people together to discover what overlapping skills and needs we have. And we'll do that deliberately mixing people up across all 3 faculties. The winter meetings focus on science. Last year, we had, the theme was the data theme. So that was a Pufendorf, the Institute for Advanced Study, Pufendorf here in Lund. We had the data theme running, and we had a series of talks about that. If you're curious about that, you can actually watch them on YouTube because they were also filmed. So you can simply go to YouTube and look for Compute Winter Meeting 2018, and you will find the talks there. And today, then, the theme is really broadly eScience being done within the faculties of Science, Medicine, and LT And so you're going to hear today a very interesting, broad set of talks to give you a flavour of a lot of the eScience work being done in these 3 faculties. So seminars then, we have talks on eScience again in the broadest of terms. If you think you're doing eScience and you want to have someone visit and give a compute seminar, talk to us and let's see what's possible. So eScience can mean lots of things to lots of different people. The idea of the compute seminars is that they should be accessible to the broad compute membership community. But again, during the visit, it's entirely possible for someone to give a compute seminar and also spend a day or 2 extra with a particular research group where they perhaps might have a very technical, smaller talk just to that research area. So it's a good opportunity to have visitors. And nominations, suggestions for visitors are open to all of the compute member community. So we do invite people to come up with suggestions. We actually have quite a few talks. We had 6 seminars in 2018. We've got a number planned already for 2019, but we do have space for further suggestions, so do let us know, please. Just to highlight 2 coming up actually already in March, we have Andrew Winters visiting us from Cologne. He's going to talk about high-order methods for conservation laws. That's already on March 18. And we have Kostas Bekas, who actually works at IBM in Zurich, and talking about cognitive discovery, how AI is changing technical R&D. And that's coming up on 26th of March. And I will note that this second one is actually a joint event between Compute and the AI Machine Learning Network here in Lund. Both of those talks will get advertised in due course, so you'll have information coming out. And again, if you're a member of Compute, you will get that automatically. Alumni Careers Network, then, we have basically developing this now, a forum for students to exchange ideas and expertise, basically putting people together, finding out about what they're doing, but also finding out about career prospects. We're connecting students then with alumni for mentoring and career development. We actually held an event in the same room here last November where we had people from Axis, Ericsson and Sony talking to the Compute community. And that was a very successful event, I would say. The companies are really very, very keen to talk to our PhDs because they know they're valuable. And companies spend a lot of time and energy recruiting good people, so we can put 30 or 40 good people in one room in one time. This is of interest to them, and we're going to have more of these events. So let me, before I close then, just put Compute in the context of Lund University eScience activity. So Lund University eScience. So how does Compute fit in with lots of other things? Because there's lots of eScience things happening in Lund. And they are coordinated, is the first point to make. We actually are doing several things together with other groups. So let me sort of explain the triangle then. So in the triangle sense here, we're thinking about basically research activity, provision of infrastructure, and then provision of education and training. So for example, there are many, many, many actors within eScience research in Lund, but just two good examples then is the strategic research environment Essence, and also the AI machine learning network I already mentioned, but there are others too, of course. In terms of infrastructure, we have Lunark, Humanities Lab, and VR Lab, amongst others. And then education training is where really Compute is sitting, right? That's the idea here, that Compute is providing that education training support for everyone, as we've described. But there are lots of eScience activities going on in Lund, so I shall use this moment just to quickly advertise before I close. There's a site we put together, actually Magnus Ullner, who's going to wave now. Where is Magnus Ullner? Is sitting there. So Magnus put this together for us, www.compile.lu.se, and it's what it is. It's a site for anything eScience at Lund. So you're thinking, well, what's going on in eScience? I want to find out. There's a lot of different initiatives. How do I find out in one place? As a start, at least, the answer is go to Compile. So Compile will tell you about Compute events. It'll tell you about AI/ML events and other things. But also you think, well, hang on a minute, I've got an event. I've got my one-day deep learning in medicine event, and I want people to know about it. Well, what can you do? Very simply is email Magnus, right? So if you have an eScience event you want to advertise to the broad community at Lund University, absolutely, that's what it's there for. Please email Magnus, and he can put it on the Compile website for you. So you can reach quite a large community that way. Okay, final slide then. To find out more about Compute, you can check out our website. So you can do it in a number of ways, but if you Google Compute Research School, that will find the website very easily. Or you can talk to current Compute members of the steering group over lunch and coffee. And just to remind you all, joining is easy, and as Ross told you, forms are available today. Thank you.
Thank you, Melvyn. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, so just for everyone, so Magnus just pointed out that you can go to Compile, and Compile will link you to the Compute website. So actually, that's absolutely true. So the only thing you have to remember is that web address, and then that will get you to all of these places. That's right, it'll get you to AML, it'll get you to Compute. So if you want to find the Compute website, you can absolutely click on the link that's provided on the Compile website. Thanks, Magnus, for that important point.
Any other?
Just wait for the mic.
The courses and stuff, are they also open for not PhD students, so postdocs, master students, PIs?
So absolutely, to some extent. So in the first hand, forskarutbildning is for doktorander. Okay, so it's PhD courses are meant for PhD students, but it's absolutely reasonable if we have a course on deep learning, for example, where I forget the exact number, but it's some 20-some, 30-so students taking, for example, then it's perfectly reasonable if one or two people want to go along who are not doing it for credit, so to speak, who may be postdocs or researchers. That's absolutely possible. And in fact, actually, I guess the gentleman sitting there who did the VR course could comment, but in our VR course last year, we absolutely had people doing things there with you guys, right, who were not the PhD students. I see them nodding. So there is that opportunity within reason. I mean, we're providing the PhD courses for PhD students in the first hand, so to speak. So we expect, and we encountered that the majority of people taking the course are indeed PhD students. But it's not absolutely, we are absolutely in Compute want to be as inclusive as sensible. Thank you, that was a good question.